Did you ever want to have a very specific miniature? Maybe you had an idea for a great boss or a unique unit, but nothing to really represent that. Kit bashing and 3D modeling can be great solutions for this sort of thing. But what if you simply don't have a 3D printer or the parts needed? Then it is time to get back to the basics, to a time when miniatures weren't made on the computer, but by hand. The names Green Stuff and MILLIPUT are ingrained in the annals of the miniature hobby. Whether it's on social media, in how-to videos, or simply seen in the hobby store, I'm sure that everyone watching this video has heard of one or the other. And if not, well, perfect, this is a great video for you. On a surface level, both are pretty much the same. Each has two components that interact on a chemical level to become solid over time. So in a way, these are similar to other modeling clays. But where air drying clay needs, well, air, or polymer clay needs to be put in an oven, not the greatest idea when you combine it with plastic parts, their components only need to be mixed together and then you can start working with them. That's also probably the reason why Green Stuff and MILLIPUT are often mentioned in unison. But when you observe them closer, there are a couple of differences that I'm going to show you in my latest project. This is she, one of the infamous basilisks of the wonderful macabre world of Mordheim. She is one of the two basilisks that are known to exist within this world. She is also the only one to get a visual representation in the book, a truly captivating image in my opinion. From the moment I saw this picture, I wanted to have a miniature for that. So I knew this would be a perfect opportunity to play a bit around with Green Stuff and MILLIPUT. As a base for this miniature, I used the 5-headed dragon Marduk from Arkane Studios. I really love their dragons from the Dungeons & Lasers line. These are very high quality plastic miniatures with interesting poses and a lot of character. It was almost a bit sad when I cut off certain parts like this neck. But as the basilisk only has 2 heads and not 5, I needed to get rid of the middle one. This is a very scary moment, I know. But sometimes you simply need to trust yourself and push through those moments. When I had my basic shape, including one giant gaping hole in the middle, I added a bigger base to this creature. This may be my only real criticism regarding these dragons. Sometimes the bases are a bit too small for my taste. I like to give big creatures the footprints they inherently deserve. Also, another problem that can come up, especially when you modify these, is that the miniature can get a bit unstable. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of the putties. As I already mentioned, each consists of 2 components that when mixed together give you a finite working time, which dances around the 90-minute mark, sometimes a bit more. Curing time is also similar, ranging from 4 to 24 hours, depending on room temperature and of course how much you've used. But this is where the similarities end. Now the real difference is in how these putties behave and ultimately their state after drying. And this of course influences where you want to use these. For example, if you want to sculpt something thin and protruding like these antlers, you would want to go with Green Stuff. This hardens in a slightly flexible or gummy state, which is ideal for appendages, swords and of course antlers. It's also advisable to use a wire armature, which you can simply make from cheap florist wire you can find at every local hardware store. Also, when you try to model thinner protrusions, it's a good idea to use latex or nitrile gloves to avoid fingerprints. And if you don't like wearing these for a long time, you can simply cut off the digits of the gloves and use them separately as finger sleeves. That way you avoid sweaty hands. Now on the other side, if you have a huge gap like that, you would probably want to go with MILLIPUT. Here it's more a matter of money, as MILLIPUT is much cheaper per gram than Green Stuff. This box of MILLIPUT costs around €5 or dollars, while a similar amount of Green Stuff would probably set you back 4 or 5 times the amount. But still, money isn't the only reason for this approach. MILLIPUT is also water soluble. This allows you to water it down and get it to a consistency that is way more suitable for smaller gaps. Now for the base, I wanted to expand on the ground texture that came with the original base. Here I went the admittedly somewhat time-consuming step of adding individual bricks. But this is a great opportunity to show you another awesome thing about these putties. If you want something that is somewhere in between green stuff and milliput, you can simply mix both together. This gives you a putty that isn't as flexible as green stuff, but still holds enough detail for pieces like these bricks. Also, it makes the step much more cost effective. In this specific conversion, I also used this mix to model the fur. For a test like that, it's still sticky enough. I also tried out pure green stuff here, but I did not feel a significant difference. It still stays in place easily, while you can use modeling tools like these silicone shapers to give it the right form. Fur is pretty easy to sculpt in my opinion, and is a great way for a beginner to get started with these epoxy putties. Just make sure the tips are always a bit moist to avoid the putty sticking to the tools. Now when it's dry, you can drill holes into it like I did here to add a few ritualistic candles to add to the Mordheim feeling. Also, if you want to add plastic bits with your regular plastic cement, it won't work, so you should use superglue instead. Now the only thing to do is to paint the basilisk. So while I do that, I want to get something important off my chest. Thank you so very much. As of right now, Lenric's Realm crossed the 10,000 subscriber count. You have no idea what this means to me. You see, ultimately everyone who makes videos on this platform wants them to be seen. That is the simple nature of things. To be frank, I wouldn't put in most of my free time into this otherwise. So actually making something like this and seeing your reactions through your comments, likes and shares is simply amazing. This is my way to connect with you. People who share my interest in tabletop RPGs, in miniatures and in making, well, something for all the games we love. This became so much more than a simple hobby to me, and not because I earn a few bucks here and there. This is part of my life now, and to some extent, so are you. I especially want to thank my 7 patrons as well. Kim, Noah, Faumel, Sam, ECB22, Zombor and Avery. You guys are simply amazing. This again is incredible to see, as your contribution not only helps me to finance these videos, but also gives me the affirmation that you really want to see more. I know it's obvious, but the realization itself is just mind-blowing. So thank you so very much. The basilisk demanded a miniature, and here it is. I hope you enjoyed this one and you look forward to the next video. My patrons decided that I should take a look at a small indie game called Necropolis 28, and it seems to be a perfect opportunity to build a small gaming board. This is probably going to be a two-parter, so I really hope you're as excited about this as I am. In the meantime, you can check out this video right here. So until then, thank you for watching and farewell, fellow adventurers.